What's up, everybody? Welcome to Dallas Sports. My name is Sammy HT, and today I am joined by a very special guest, coach of the middle school Westwood Christian basketball team, William Nadaski. He just led his team to a 12-5 record, so he's a good coach, has a bright future. But unfortunately, we're not here to discuss great things about my alma mater. I wish I could, but unfortunately, I haven't been in campus enough to know or understand what is going on down there. Instead, I have the displeasure of knowing and understanding Heat basketball to the point where I have so much knowledge, so to speak, that it pains me to talk about this. Um, Today we're going to be talking about the trade deadline. We're also going to be giving our winners and losers of the NBA trade deadline overall. So we're going to be expanding a bit outside of our reach, not just talking about Miami Heat basketball today. So Will, how you doing? How we feeling? Has it been a very
Well,
good 24
hey,
hours for you, man?
yeah, I was going to ask you. It depends on if you're asking about my life or if you're asking me about Miami Heat basketball. Bro, it's one word, just disappointed. I mean, nothing has changed from other years. Just disappointed like usual. As you can see, everyone saw the post. Everyone saw the stat that we were the only Eastern Conference team to not make a single move. Nothing, not a pick, not like nothing, bro. Literally nothing. And it's disappointing, bro, because as you can see, our record, we're very close. We're fighting to stay above 500, right? We're at the same point we've been at the past 2 years, 3 years. And this year was the year to, bro, to make a trade, to make a little bit of a push because our team is not terrible. And, we had the pieces to make a good trade, right? We saw the package that we sent, but at the end of the day, it didn't work out. But yeah, uh, I was praying, and like you said, you made this. I'm gonna say this last thing, and I'm gonna let you go. But this reel that you made saying that, or TikTok, that if they don't make a trade right now before the day of the trade deadline, nothing's gonna happen, bro. And I agree with that post so much because now look what happened. They were not gonna do anything on February 5th, bro. And I was waiting, and no wait, February 5th or 4th. When was the deadline?
I think
Fifth.
that the deadline was, I believe, last night, yesterday afternoon at three
At, at,
o'clock.
at three,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, 3 o'clock.
Yeah. So like I was waiting and I was waiting and then bro, I was
I
busy and
I'll
yeah.
tell you what I was doing. I'll tell you what I was doing when the clock struck 3 o'clock. I decided I came home. I just finished another job interview. Right, came home. I decided, you know what? I'm gonna take a nap, and hopefully in the next 2 hours, we're gonna have something happen. Right, Will? Like something has got to happen. There's no way all this smoke and Ja Morant and Giannis just aren't coming to the Heat, right? And sure enough, no move was made, and now we're sitting here. You already mentioned
Same
it.
team,
Yep, same exact
same
team.
roster.
You already mentioned it. The Miami Heat are the only team in the Eastern Conference to not make a move. We are one of three NBA teams overall to not make any sort of trade. The other two teams,
Well, yeah, I was gonna ask
you
that. What
can,
are the other two
yeah,
teams,
I
bro?
want you to take a guess who those other two teams are. It's going to be in the Western Conference, obviously, because everybody in the East made a trade.
Okay.
So
Well,
who,
I was gonna say the Pelicans, but they made a trade.
they made a
So that was
trade.
Alvarado. All right, all
So
right.
who do you think didn't make a trade in this deadline?
I'm trying to think if it's like some like bum team that just doesn't care.
Well, it could
Is it
also be.
Grizzlies?
It
No,
could.
the Grizzlies.
The
They get
Grizzlies
Jaren
definitely
Jackson.
made a
I'm gonna
trade.
say,
They
bro.
made that Jaren Jackson trade.
They made a crazy trade.
We'll
I
we'll
mean,
we'll, we'll talk.
but we'll get to that
We'll
later.
take. We'll talk about
Uh,
that in a second. But
yo,
think
bro,
of
I'm
think of
trying to think.
contending teams in the Western Conference.
Oh, contending teams.
Yes. So think of the like.
Contending teams.
So think of like a top five seed. The top five seeds. And I'm gonna.
Bro,
I want to
I'm
use this
blank
to
right
make a
now.
point.
I gotta pull up the standings or something, bro.
I got you. Don't worry. We'll reveal it right here. Take
Yeah,
a
reveal
wild
it
guess.
because
Just take a
I'm
wild
blanking.
guess. Just pick two names.
Contending. Oh, the Spurs. The Spurs.
The Spurs and who else?
The Spurs. And this is also another contending team,
Yeah, I would say they're contending at least.
like top five. I mean,
I think they're top
uh,
five in the West. They did
the
make a
Lakers made that Luke Kennard. Good
They
trade.
did make another
What was
trade.
that like?
They
That's
did they did make another trade this past offseason for a particular player that we were trying to get this offseason, but we made a certain player untouchable.
Mm.
Yeah.
The Rockets.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah. So
Okay.
yeah, so the Spurs and the
And that
Rockets.
certain player was Jovic.
No, it was Ware actually. I think it was the one.
It was Ware?
It was Ware that was untouchable. Which
But
I
still, like they still don't want to. They still believe in him, bro.
All right, so
3 years,
so we can
something like, bro.
we'll talk about Jovic in a second because there's a lot of stuff that about this not making any moves in the trade deadline that is very detrimental. But the Spurs and the Rockets, those two teams have one thing in common. They are competing in a Western Conference for a championship. The Spurs are contenders. They made the jump, and the Rockets traded for KD, and even though their season isn't going as great as we all thought it would, mostly due to the fact that they've been battling. They really haven't had a point guard, and Reed Shepherd hasn't really stepped up like the Rockets probably wish he would have. The injury to Fred VanVleet definitely sucks, but regardless, the Rockets are looked at as a serious contending team in the Western Conference. What are the Heat compared to those two teams? Fodder. They're not anything good. They're playing. They're a playing team. And that's why this not making a move in this deadline makes no sense if you're trying to compete. If you're trying to compete, then making a trade makes the most sense. Now, you said it, Will. The Heat will be going the rest of the season with no changes, the same problems, and we're going to really just attempt to have some sort of fix. It's a shame. We had an opportunity at Giannis, had an opportunity at Ja Morant, and the Giannis thing I let slide, right? You can let the Giannis thing slide because that's a very difficult trade to make, right? Exactly. Even though they were talking crazy, Shams was talking crazy about us, but the Ja Morant trade, in my opinion, those two not happening, Will, I don't think was the problem. I don't think that was the problem. I think the problem becomes, okay, if we can't get these guys, then it's clear that we're not going to be competing this year, given how the season has gone. So now, this leads me to another point that I want you to comment on, Will. The contract situation. Norman Powell, he's expiring, right? Terry Rozier expiring, we're probably not, that was a very difficult tradable contract. But then here's another thing.
Haunts me.
Tyler Hero, due for a contract very soon. Andrew Wiggins, for a contract very soon. I want to get your opinion on what the Miami Heat could possibly do now to salvage whatever kind of situation they're like. What not trading these contracts means to you, because now the likelihood of them not getting the contract, the likelihood of Tyler Hero getting an extension, unlikely. The same with Norman Powell. The same with Andrew Wiggins. What do you think about the Heat just not moving those from those contracts?
Yeah. So one thing I point out is Norman Powell and Tyler Hero, right? One is like 33-ish. The other one is 26, right? So we got a young player, and then we got kind of like a veteran type player, right? But when I had no problem trying to trade Tyler Hero, and obviously we knew Tyler Hero was in that package to go get Giannis. I had no problem doing that. Like, as much as I loved him, I had no problem doing that because it's Giannis, right? And then Andrew Wiggins, I thought, because I saw some reports about, Andrew Wiggins being traded for Kuminga, and I didn't mind that at all because Kuminga is a younger player, right? And obviously Andrew Wiggins' contract, and I don't think the Heat should really re-sign Andrew Wiggins. I don't think so. I think we should have traded him. I think he should have been involved in one of the trades for Giannis, to be completely honest, right? Or maybe Morant. I didn't see the whole Morant trade package, but I think he should have been involved in that because I just don't think he was one of those players to kind of get rid of Jimmy Butler. I don't think he was added to the Heat to really improve the team. And that's not me hating on Andrew Wiggins. That's just how the situation was because we had to get rid of Jimmy Butler. we couldn't keep him, right? So nothing against Andrew Wiggins, but he was just that type of player that we just got him because we had to get rid of a player. Now, is he making the team like worse? No, nothing was really changing, right? So I think he was a good player to trade. So I am kind of upset that at the end of the day, yes, we didn't make a trade, but like you said, those three players that want those new contracts, like, at the end of the day, I think we have to choose one of those players, bro. Just one. Because if you want to do all three, like that, or two, that's gonna be a lot of money. And then I thought Hero should have been out of his way. He should have been in Milwaukee right now. But
I think with Hero, it becomes more frustrating because like this was a really important year for him, and last year,
injuries, bro.
last year he had such a and last year he had such a great year. But now I can officially say that year that Tyler Hero last year, that the year that he had, we can call it a farce. We can call it a fluke because the 2 years before that he was getting hurt. Then this year he has not even been close to available. And
Okay, sorry for cutting you off, but last episode that I was on with you, it was his toe contusion or foot, right? Now it's his ribs.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't know if
I-
somebody punched him in the ribs or something, bro, but like it is actually like I understand. So it was his ankle last time. It was his ankle, then it was his
Yeah.
toe, and now
Yeah.
it's his ribs. I don't know what kind of discomfort he's feeling. I haven't gotten a real update. All we know is he didn't make the trip. He didn't make the trip to Boston, by the way. Boston is going to Boston is gonna play us tonight. We're playing against Boston tonight at 7:30, which I'm not gonna lie. I've never been more checked out of a Heat season than I have this year. I thought last year was bad. I think this year might not be worse, but I will say there's no motivation. What is the motive? What are you selling to the Miami Heat right now with Tyler Hero anymore? Like the Tyler Hero has been hurt for a majority of his career now. He's been and look, I love Tyler. I really do appreciate how great he's been in the seasons where he has been healthy. I still remember his rookie year being so excited for his future. But we're in year 7 now, and
wow.
yeah, I know, I feel old too. One thing is for sure, this cat can't stay healthy. He just can't. He just cannot stay healthy. And since he cannot stay healthy, it's hard for teams to really gauge, okay, what's his real value? Because he's good, he's a great scorer, he's a good passer, and he's a good offensive engine. He can't be the best player on your team, but he can certainly be a piece that you use to go far. But when he's hurt, and when he's constantly hurt, it gives teams like this. One of the reasons why I think Milwaukee was hesitant to trade for him was because they don't know if he's going to stay healthy. And they don't know if they want to extend him. So it's like, why are we going to trade for him if we're not sure if we're going to extend him? If you're not sure you're going to extend him, why should we be so sure? Right?
Yeah.
So
I think, yeah.
It's that
I
kind of.
think what you just said about Tyler Hero was true about how the Bucks were hesitant about that. I do agree with that, and I think that's a really good point because they've been seeing how he's been getting injured a lot. And last season he had that good season, but the 2 seasons before that, so it's kind of inconsistent, and they don't know if they want to really, bro. It's Giannis. They don't know if they want to trade him away, because listen, honestly, when the summer comes around, they're gonna have the. There was a report. Sham said it himself that they're gonna revisit this in the summer, and since the season's done, other teams are gonna be more involved and stuff like that. So I think by the Buck side, good job on not trading him, because I think that was the best bet for them. Because I don't think, at the end of the day, as much as as a Heat fan, I would have loved to get Giannis. I just don't think, like you said, the Tyler Hero thing was very hesitant. They were very hesitant with that because of his injury stuff and all of that, and plus him needing a new contract too. And so by the Bucks, it's good because, like I said, in the summer they get to revisit more options and
better
maybe
offers.
get a better trade
And better offers too, because think about it. Really think about this. You could have accepted the Heat's offer, right? You could have, right? But there's so many uncertainties. There's so much uncertainty with Tyler Hero, right? Whereas you look at a team like San Antonio, and they have picks, they have young players, right? So why wouldn't that trade happen, right? The same thing with OKC. If OKC doesn't win a championship this year, if they don't go back to back, which that's a scary thought. Them not going to them like potentially winning or not winning, and then them getting Giannis right after, I'd be terrified. Like but that's literally possible though. That's a possibility that could happen. Like another thing that the Heat I think are hopeful for is that the offer that they have, which by the way, this is why I think trading for Giannis needed to happen, because now the offer that we have is going to be worse. It's going to be a worse offer because now, like, what first round picks did we get for Andrew Wiggins? None. We didn't get anything for Andrew Wiggins. We didn't get anything for Norman Powell. We got nothing for anybody. We didn't do anything to sweeten the deal. And now we're going to have to try to do that again in the offseason with two other teams joining the race outside of Minnesota, because Minnesota is going to be back in the race as well. And they're contending for a championship, by the way. So the only that's kind of another thing, that not making this trade now is going to have severe repercussions later, because a trade's going to happen this offseason. That I really doubt that Milwaukee goes another year and just lets Giannis walk. There's no way that's happening. And people thinking that, oh, Giannis is going to be a free agent in 2027, be serious for a second. There is no possible way that Giannis and his agent and the Milwaukee Bucks, it is for their best interest for a move to get done in the offseason and for Giannis to get extended. Giannis doesn't want to be a free agent. Giannis doesn't want to be a free agent. And for the most part, nobody in, like, every blue chip player that's going to be available in 2027 is not going to want to be a free agent, like a Nikola Jokic. I've seen that name thrown out in the 2027 draft class. Be serious. Do you seriously think Nikola Jokic and his agent are going to let that happen? Let there be a bidding war? Probably not. I'm sorry. So that leads me to my next point. The Heat clearly want something from the 2027 draft class, and in the draft class, the free agency class. And this brings me to my next point, is that Hero, Wiggins, Powell, Rozier, all those players are not the only players that are going to be off the books very soon. This is what's going to get real scary, because pretty soon, not Bam, Davion Mitchell's going to be eligible for an extension very soon. We all like him. We all like Jaime Jaquez Jr. He's going to be eligible for an extension very soon. Pelle Larsson, we love him. He's going to need
this year's been a great year.
He's been good. He's been really good this year. But guess what? He's going to be eligible for an extension as well. And I can guarantee you he's going to want to be paid handsomely. He's going to want to be paid. He's been really good. So these role players are going off for the Miami Heat.
Especially for being a second round pick. He's especially going to be
He's going to want money because he's not getting paid too much for what he's bringing to the team. So with all this said, this is the detriment of just having a bunch of gems. It's a good thing when you're contending, but when you're not contending, it becomes very, very hard, because now Now, Will, we're going to have to think about paying these players, and not just thinking about the whale that we want to bring in. It's not just going to be about Giannis. It's not just going to be about Anthony Edwards down the line, or Karl Anthony Towns, or whoever's going to be available. We're going to have to bring back all the players that we liked. We want to bring back, but guess what? We're not going to be able to. And in this NBA era, in the NBA, it is not just important, Will, to just get a star player. It's building around him. So if Giannis comes to Miami, by the grace of God, somehow it happens, right? Giannis, Bam, Jovic. Who else is going to be on the team? Who else? We don't know. And Powell, he's going to be pushing 40 soon. That's the thing. And do we want to extend Tyler Hero? Do we want to extend Andrew Wiggins? Because if we extend those guys, then we have no money to spend on the big whale. So that's why it was so important to get something, get draft capital, invest. I hate saying this word. Rebuild. Point somewhere, because the direction we're going in is not good enough. It's not good enough, Will.
No.
It's not good enough.
Yeah, I mean, you just said it right there. I agree. It sucks when you have these players that are good, and the word that you said, these gems. You know, and it's not that you were saying we have. It's not like you're saying that we have like a super team. No, we have a good team to be not a playing team, right? We have a team that, I mean, at the beginning of the season we were convinced a little bit, and I remember the record like till this day, 14-7, right?
Oh man.
14-7, not a bad record at all, right? And from what I was seeing with the improved offense, I thought, yo, we make a trade by the trade deadline, and yo, we're talking like we can, we could be a top 4 seed, and then obviously, as you can see, no trade happened. But besides that, we have all like you said, we have all these gems and like all these players, and their contracts are expiring soon. Is that what are we gonna do? Because like you said, if we do get Giannis, what players are we gonna have left to support him, right? So what you said, I agree with. You know, like I said at the beginning of the episode, it's disappointing. There's really not much else for me to say about the Miami Heat, bro, because
it's really it, right? Like
every year there's always a big name superstar. And listen, I know, right? It's hard, bro. It's hard to acquire that superstar that you want. But at the end of the day, it's business, bro. And you got to get it done, especially when that team has been stuck for like a few years. And yeah, I'm disappointed. I'm disappointed. We'll see how the summer goes when it comes to free agency and when it comes to, trading. See how see the whole Giannis thing.
Right.
But I wish I didn't have to say that though, right? I wish I didn't have to say I can't wait to see how the summer goes. I just wish I could say, oh, we got a player that we just traded for. Let's see, how the season turns out. But another thing that you said, I'm kind of checked out a little bit, But obviously I'll still be keeping up with them. But it's tough. Though. It's tough.
We're gonna have likely no choice because we're gonna have to hope and pray that this team finds a way to turn it around. But that kind of brings me.
If we go into the plan,
I have news for you, Will. I have news for you, Will. The likelihood of that happening is increasing daily, given how
bro, it's like a 90% chance. Bro.
Given how inconsistent the Heat have been, given how the 76ers are now starting to get Joel Embiid to start buying in and playing well, and they already have guys like Maxey and VJ Edgecombe and solid players like Dominic Barlow and Kelly Oubre, Quentin Grimes as well. Like, they have some studs on that team that maybe they won't win a championship, but let me tell you something. Getting VJ Edgecombe, drafting VJ Edgecombe, doing what happened last year, right? What happened last year, it being a disaster, was probably the best thing to happen to them. Because now they have a core to move on from Joel Embiid when that time comes, from Paul George when that time comes, but competitive enough, Will, competitive enough to say, hey, if we get a good draw in the Eastern Conference, if we get a top 5 seed or a top 4 seed, watch out. And I don't know what this team's chances are to winning a championship. I personally like teams like Detroit, their odds. Teams like New York, I like their odds a bit better. But you want to know something? The East is so unbelievably wide open. Last year, we just saw Indiana go to the NBA Finals. So that's why what happened to the Sixers last year happened by chance. Players getting hurt, right? They had a bad record, but guess what? They ended up with VJ Edgecombe. And now they have something to look forward to.
That backcourt.
Studs, man. Tyrese Maxey and VJ Edgecombe.
That dude, Tyrese Maxey, I think he averages 30, bro.
He's averaging 28 right now. He's been a top 10 player this year. He's been electrifying for that team. And now we're here. And I kind of want to shift gears to this. Since the Miami Heat did make a trade, it's obviously now going to point at the play. Right? All right. What are we going to be excited for now? So now we have to pay our attention back to what we've been talking about the last month or so, last 2 months or so. with Khalil Ware, with the young players. Are we going to be playing them now? Is now when they're going to start averaging more than 30 minutes? Is now when it's going to happen? Because
I think one of those games that I think one of the games where we played the Bulls 3 games in a row.
yes.
Remember that one, bro? And Khalil Ware had like 12 minutes,
Yeah.
but still had a good game. He
Yeah.
still had a great game. He had like 4 threes.
Yeah.
Man, we talked about his last episode with Khalil Ware and his playing time, but whatever. Hopefully now, since he's not in the trade. Obviously, he's not in the trade block anymore because the trade deadline's over. Is he gonna let him play? Like, what are we doing?
And that's kind of like the pathetic part, right? Like his trade value
it shouldn't be like that.
His trade value got worse. It got worse because Spo refused to play him. And since Spo refused to play him, guess what? It doesn't matter if he has motor issues. He's got to play. He's one of the most talented players on the team. He needs to play. I don't give a damn about his motor issues. Have him figure that out on the court. Don't figure it out. Have him figure it out on the bench. Don't try to prove a point. And then for Spo, and then by the way, I still didn't get over this. I'm glad he kind of walked back his comments on it. But when he essentially accused Ware of playing bad, and just like saying, oh, you don't get what you want and you play bad on purpose. That's not how this works. Like, when that statement was made, it came to a point where it's like, how out of touch. Look, Spo's a Hall of Fame head coach. Okay, he's amazing. But at what point does being a Hall of Fame head coach become a cop out? At what point? Because that's what it's become. It's becoming a cop out more and more. We're having back-to-back years where Spo is weak with his rotations, weak with his playing time of younger players. He had Jaime Jaquez Jr. in the shelf last year. The same way. He had him in the doghouse. And this year it's Ware. So you're trying to sell to other teams, hey, we have great young pieces, but your head coach isn't playing them, and it makes no sense. So now, Will, I'm just curious, like, do you would think now that Khalil Ware starts to get the minutes that he deserves, right? It has to happen, right? These young players have to play.
I would hope so. I would love to. But I also think that I wish it never had to come to this point where, since he didn't get traded, now he can play. It's always been kind of, frustrating for me, and I would always like ask, why play him one game for 35 minutes, but then the next game he gets 12? Like, I just really don't understand that, because usually, like, when you go into a season, right? Like, before that, the training camp before that, you're seeing a rotation. You're seeing what you're going to have your rotation be like, right? And I just don't understand what the inconsistency is. What the inconsistency? I can't even say the word. I can't say the word.
Inconsistency?
Yes, that. I don't understand it, because every time Khalil has been given the minutes that the Heat fans want, right? Or what he wants, he proves that he should be playing those minutes, because he's averaging those 20-point doubles, 15 and 10. Bro, like, I don't know. Like you said, I wish it never had to get to this point where he doesn't get traded, so now we play him. I hope he gets the minutes he deserves for this last half of the season. But I guess we'll see. And honestly, I really love Khalil Ware. I really love Khalil Ware a lot.
I do too.
But if it means we get Giannis,
of course,
cool.
Of course. But
I love Khalil Ware.
That's kind of my point, though. That's kind of my point. If you're trying to sell to somebody, hey, this player is really, really good, why are you playing him 3 minutes? Why are you only playing him 12? Why are you only playing him these are not for a player of his talent. He should be getting some of the most minutes on the team. He's 21 years old. So that's why it made no sense. But this kind of had me thinking.
This whole Heat thing is just frustrating.
It kind of had me thinking, Will. It kind of had me thinking. I'm thinking this time last year, where were we? we were in the middle of the damn Jimmy Butler trade saga, right? And now I'm thinking to myself, and this is going to be crazy, and not a lot of people are going to love to hear this. I'm thinking maybe Jimmy Butler had a point. Maybe Jimmy Butler had a point in quitting on this team. Now, quitting on your team sucks, and you should never do it. But do you think Jimmy Butler is... Do you think Heat fans are now looking at the Jimmy Butler situation? And I hate to bring up Jimmy Butler because, look, it was water under the bridge. It happened. It is what it is. And I'd love to move on from it. But I can't help myself but go back and look and see, why did he act the way that he acted? And now I'm thinking...
I think the reason why he acted the way he acted was because, honestly, like, as much as I hated seeing a professional player do that, you know, saying negative things about the franchise, saying negative things about the GM and the basketball operations, it sucks to hear that. But at the same time, right, he's getting older and older. And in his older years, he's been carrying the team in the playoffs and being their best player. And they don't make the trades, aka Damian Lillard trade. Another Giannis trade. We were in another Giannis conversation when we had Jimmy, and not doing anything in free agency. So when you say was Jimmy Butler right? In a sense, he kind of was, because, bro, Jimmy Butler wants that ring. He's getting older and older and older. Yet the Miami Heat are looking at Jimmy Butler's performance and they're like, we're not gonna do anything. And another problem was his contract. You know,
Yep.
do we really want to pay him $50 million, $55 million a year for a player who's about to be 40, right? He's like, what, 37, 36?
He's going to be, I think he's 36 now. He's going to be 37 next year, I believe.
So yeah.
Of course.
It's kind of a 50-50 thing with with Jimmy Butler. You know, we hate to see a player do that to a franchise, but at the same time, you know, gotta kind of, you know, agree with him, because he did so much just for the organization to not really give him the help.
Here's my thing. Here's my thing.
Needed.
Here's my thing. Here's my thing. With Jimmy Butler, that offseason in 2024, when you called him out, right? You called him out. What was that going to do? So Jimmy Butler got called out after he missed the 2024 plan by Pat Riley. And at the time, I was thinking to myself, okay, all right, you see, this is what Heat culture is, right? Me and you were still drinking that Kool-Aid. We're like, well, that's just the way this organization is run. They call out their players, right? And we thought to ourselves, no, come on. Yeah, all right, come on now. Like, what are we doing here? What are we doing?
Yeah.
So, that offseason, if you genuinely think that if you were hesitant on paying Jimmy Butler his money, if you were hesitant on that, then why not entertain trade offers, entertain something? Because clearly, you are not going to pay him. You don't want to pay him.
Yeah.
You don't want to pay him. Okay, fine. You don't want to pay him. So then trade him. So if you don't want to extend him, trade him. So now I'm thinking Jimmy Butler was probably in this place where it's like, okay, so I'm sitting here. The front office isn't willing to make any kind of moves to make this team better. They've struck out way too many times. Fine. You're going to strike out. Fine. Go ahead and strike out. But now I want my money because of what I was doing in the past, the deep playoff runs we went on with me carrying you for some of these games, or without me, we don't win these playoff series. We don't win these. Taking the Boston Celtics in that 2022 series to 7 games. Without Jimmy Butler, there is no Game 7. There is, without that series against the Milwaukee Bucks in that first round, there is no finals run, okay? The same thing can be said in 2020. Without Jimmy Butler, how much farther are you going? Are we pushing the Lakers to 6 games if he's not there? The answer is no.
And that Lakers team was tough, bro.
It was a tough team. They were a really good team. And how the hell did Jimmy Butler stole 2 games from him? How?
Yeah.
And guess what? You don't want to pay him. Why? Because he's not playing well. He's not playing well enough in the regular season. And that might be a fair point. But I'll raise you this. I'll raise you this. What were you doing? What were you doing when Tyler Hero was hurt constantly? You gave him passes. Why? Because he's young? What were you doing when Bam wasn't stepping up in the playoffs? When Bam wasn't showing up to games? What was happening? My point is this. Jimmy Butler, the way he went about it was bad. It was unprofessional. It just wasn't good. It's not a great way to do things. It's not ethical.
Yeah.
However, if I'm being told by if this front office is being stuck and not making any kind of moves, and they're not willing to pay me, and they're not willing to trade me, how the heck am I supposed to get the goal that I want? And let me tell you, Will,
if I'm averaging 35 in the playoffs in 2023, bro, then listen, bro, I want my money, bro.
I want my money. Exactly my point. That's my point. And then on top of that, what makes it even worse is that Jimmy Butler, sipping his big face coffee, is probably laughing because he knew that this front office wasn't serious about the betterment.
He's got that torn ACL with $55 million every year, bro.
Yes, but guess what? I would like my chances more. If I'm Jimmy Butler, I like my chances more going to Golden State and playing with Steph Curry and playing with Draymond Green and hoping for the best over there than playing for Bam Adebayo and playing with Tyler Hero. I'm sorry. If my team isn't getting any better, if my team hit the ceiling, okay, finals appearance and that's it, but not winning it all, and your team isn't making any changes, what are we doing here? What are we doing here? And that's why, Jimmy Butler, look, man, hate how he went about it, but he has a point. He has a very fair point in saying, hey, you know what? You're not going to trade me. You're not going to pay me. I'm going to force my way out. I don't like it. I don't like it one bit. But how else was he supposed to? And now we're seeing it. They're not making any moves. And everything that Jimmy Butler was probably clamoring about the entire year, we're seeing right now fully. And here we are. The Miami Heat are obviously losers in this deadline. And we'll get to our winners and losers in a second. But it's just unfortunate. It's piss poor how this organization doesn't want to pick a side, doesn't want to rebuild. They don't have enough assets to retool or reload. We're going to have to wait till 2027 we're going to have to wait till 2027 and have hope for the 2027-2028 season in order for this Heat basketball to be exciting. Try selling that to the fan base. And I guarantee
2026, 2027 is just going to be another year of mid.
Yeah. Another year of mid, and now we're here, and man, it's frustrating. It is frustrating, Will. And honestly, I'm pissed. I'm angry because they did nothing to make the deal enticing. They did nothing to make their future brighter. Yeah. The Heat did nothing.
Yeah.
To make
I'll
this
say
season.
one more thing. I'll say one more thing about the Heat. The Heat trade deadline, and then we can move on to the
winners and losers. Yep.
To the other teams that made trades. So yeah, it was kind of like you when you said you took a nap and you wanted to wake up to some great news. Yeah, so I was in the same boat kind of because I had that middle school championship game to coach, and I was hoping that after that game I would check my phone and I would see some, Sean reports. I did see some reports, but as I went through all of them, did I see a single Miami Heat one? Did I see a single John Morant, a single Giannis, a single anybody, bro? No, I did not. So yeah, like I said, the two times before this disappointing. You know, I guess we'll move on from that.
We will.
But yeah, it just sucks. But
It
that's
does.
it.
It is. Yeah, we're done talking about those loser frauds. Okay, we're done. We're done talking about. Well, let's talk about winners, right?
Yep.
Winners of the trade deadline. Will go ahead and give me. Just start with like one, and
All right,
just
I'll
give
go
me
with
give me
one
two.
winner.
Go give me two winners actually. Give me two winners.
Okay, two winners. So what I got from here, dang. All right, so one winner that I like is, and it's a very like small winner because they didn't do like a very crazy trade. It was the three-team trade where the Pistons the Pistons trade
Mm.
the Pistons trade. Now,
So they brought
just
in
just
they,
let
they,
me.
they brought in Kevin Herter.
Okay, yes. Now, the reason why I like that trade is obviously because of what Detroit did, right? And I'm not talking Dario Saric. I'm talking about mainly Kevin Herter because I think, especially when he was on the Kings, and especially when he was on the Bulls, when Josh Giddey was hurt and Vucevic was hurt and Ayo was hurt, I think he was a good player. And especially last year, I think he's a very good player to come off the bench. And you pair him up with Duncan Robinson and you swap them in and out, I think they're very good, consistent shooters, especially for Cade Cunningham. Because Cade Cunningham loves to dish out the ball.
Mm-hmm.
And I know it's, even for me, I felt kind of sad for Jaden Ivey because, he got drafted to that team and they were a very poverty franchise when he was
Terrible.
playing,
Yeah.
right? And so, obviously that when he broke that bone in his leg, that kind of, slowed him down a lot. But I know it's a very, very weird winner, but I choose them as one of my winners because I feel like Herter is a very good spot up shooter that they get, especially after losing Tim Hardaway Jr. and Malik Beasley. So what they kind of did was is that they kind of got two of those back with Duncan Robinson and Kevin Herter. But and then my other one, you see, I'm kind of stuck with the other one, right? Because I kind of want to go Cavaliers though, but I don't know about James Harden, and I don't know how he is gonna be in the playoffs. I don't know. Because like obviously, it looks good that they got Dennis Schroeder. They got a very good 3-and-D player with Keon Ellis, right? And they got, James Harden, which has always been proven to be a great scorer and, dish out assists. But I just don't know how he's going to be in the playoffs. So that's why I have the Cavaliers kind of in the middle. I
Mm.
think we'll finally see if they are winners or losers depending on how the playoffs are. You know what I'm saying? But dang, I'm trying to. Okay, how about you give me a winner now. I'll give my other winner after you give me a winner because
Yeah,
I'm
I
kind of
got
I don't know, I'm kind of stuck with one here.
Yeah, I got a winner immediately for you. I got the Washington Wizards. I think the Washington Wizards made
Okay, yeah, that was
some
one of the that
that,
was
that
one of
was
the
one of the
ones that
okay.
I was
So
looking at. Yeah.
so the Washington Wizards. I understand they are trading essentially expiring contracts and maybe one young player and a couple of first round picks that
Yeah,
aren't
bro.
very
The team,
valuable.
like, I'm sorry, but like the people that they got for before we get to Anthony Davis, the people that they gave away for Trey Young, I mean, bro, like that's
That's
Corey
crazy.
Kispert and CJ McCollum, bro.
And
We're
Corey
talking about
Crisper's
like,
going to be good for them too. Like Corey
yeah,
Crisper's going to be good for them, but like, bro, you couldn't get one first. Like that's crazy. That's crazy to me.
not even a single pick. I think that's a good trade, and then obviously
For
you can go over the Anthony Davis trade, but I just think, yeah, you can go from what do you think about that?
I think
About
I
the
so
winner?
so the details of the trade. I'm gonna put them up right. So the Dallas Mavericks traded 10-time All Star Anthony Davis. They traded Jaden Hardy, D'Angelo Russell, and Dante Exum to the
D'Angelo
Wizards,
Russell.
and the Wizards gave away. This is all they had to give away: Chris Middleton, AJ Johnson, Malachi Branham, Marvin Bagley III, two first round picks in 3 seconds. Let me tell you something about this trade. This is about as low risk, low reward low risk, high reward as it gets for the Washington Wizards, and it really helps the Wizards extend, like really try to compete, try to like build something, and in a Eastern Conference that is very very wide open. You bring in two guys in Trey and Anthony Davis who've had experience with winning in playoffs, who've had playoff success. You pair him with guys like Trey Johnson, right? Like an Alex Sarr.
Oh,
And
I love that.
and
I love that.
and then on top of that, you still keep most of your young core. Keyshawn George still there. Bub Carrington still there. You still got guys like Bilal Coulibaly
Koulibaly.
still there. Like this is a core you could still build around, and I don't think it's gonna affect. Look, Anthony Davis and Alex Sarr. It's gonna be it's an interesting fit. It's an interesting fit, but guess what? Alex Sarr has probably been the Wizards' best player. It was about time that he got a point guard that really knows how to dish him the basketball. I obviously like Keyshawn George as well. I'll be honest. I think this is a home run trade for the Washington Wizards. I love it, and I think that they're bona fide winners. I think another winner as well. You mentioned the Cavaliers being in the middle. I'm calling the Cavaliers outright winners in this deadline, and I understand trading away Darius Garland is tough. I do. I think it's a tough situation because the Cavs drafted him, right? They really tried, like last year. They really could have used him in games where he just wasn't healthy.
Yeah.
But I think James Harden raises the floor a lot higher than Darius Garland would have. And even though
Yeah, because I agree with that because Darius Garland is known for his elite passing skills, and I feel like James Harden could do that, right? When he has Jarrett Allen and Evan Mobley on the court, right? Because obviously a lot of his assists were to Zubac, right?
yeah,
A lot of
and
his
now he has
assists
two
were
of
the
those
pick
guys.
and roll,
And
and now he has Jarrett Allen and he has Evan Mobley with that. So I think along with that and also his scoring capability, him averaging 25, right?
right,
I think the ceiling is high, but again, the reason why I have them in the middle is because I just want to see. Okay, if we're talking about like now, okay, I think what the trades they did make 100% great, great, right? They get a backup PG in Dennis Schroeder. They got a 3-and-D defender like Keon Ellis, and I think
yep,
them getting rid of DeAndre Hunter is not that bad. It's
yeah,
not that bad,
it's not bad at
right?
all in my opinion.
But for right now, I will have them as a winner, right? I agree with you. I have them as a winner because of the trades they did make, but I just want to see how this is in the playoffs.
Yeah, and given how
I just want to see how it is in the
and
playoffs.
given how players like Jalen Tyson have been stepping up for the Cavaliers as
Yo,
well,
that guy has stepped up
crazy.
crazy.
Yeah, it's
and
been
oh
good.
my, and that is exactly why they traded DeAndre Hunter.
Yeah, that's
That
why.
is why they traded DeAndre Hunter.
'Cause
That's
they
exactly why. Because they were like, okay, a guy that we drafted. I don't even know when he was drafted. I don't know if it was I don't know when.
I
but
think it was a second
They
round
did
pick. I
not
could
expect him to have a big jump, right? They did not expect him to have a big jump from last year to this year, where they were like, okay, you know what? I think we can trade DeAndre Hunter, get some good pieces, but then still kind of have that DeAndre Hunter type player with Jalen Tyson. And it's exciting to see how good he's getting. But
yeah, he was I believe he was a second round pick.
there you go.
He was a
Second
first
round
round.
pick.
He was a first round pick of last year's draft. He was a 20th overall pick. So he was
So he was a rookie last
yeah,
year.
he was a rookie last year, and I think the DeAndre Hunter trade was kind of like the DeAndre Hunter trade last year was trying to give them a boost. Then once Jalen Tyson starts stepping up, DeAndre Hunter isn't really needed. And by the way, the Kings, I would say trading for DeAndre Hunter is weird, but we'll talk about losers in a second.
I have a couple winners here that I'm looking at right now.
Go ahead, name them. I might comment on them as well.
I hate to say this one because it's always a team that
It's the Celtics, isn't
I
it?
mean it is the Celtics. Listen, bro,
I
I hate giving props to teams that I hate, bro, but at the end of the day, that trade made me look at my phone. I'm like, that's a good front office there. That's a good front office there because listen, they needed a center, like a stretch five center, like Porzingis,
a consistent
right?
one.
A consistent one too. And especially for how old Vucevic is, he's still very consistent when it comes to showing up on the court. he can hit the shot. He's a 10 rebound guy. And you know what? Getting rid of Anthony Simons, whatever, getting rid of him really doesn't, hurt that much, right?
No,
It doesn't.
he was
It doesn't
literally
at all.
he was literally
They did that trade for Drew Holiday, and I think you can go on, but I just think, bro, great trade by them. Great trade. Great
I
trade.
think that trade is interesting only because Vucevic doesn't bring like a defensive
Yeah.
a real
Mhm.
defensive like mindset
But they
with
got
him.
that Keta guy. Keta.
But
Or
that
Quetta.
that's what I was gonna mention. So I'm thinking that Vucevic and Keta are gonna probably be splitting minutes in that center as they make a
Yeah.
push potentially for a championship
Isn't that crazy to say? Isn't that crazy to say when they're missing their MVP caliber player, bro? Jason Tatum.
that is
Oh wait,
that
I wish the Miami Heat, baby. Oh man. And
uh,
I'm not saying they got MVP caliber players on the team, right? Because Tatum's really good, but man,
well
this team
Tatum is in my opinion a top 5 player in the league. So it's like
yeah, he's really good.
they're
And
missing,
what I'm
but they're
trying to say
missing
is,
him. But then now he leaves, and now all of a sudden you have Jalen Brown potentially being an MVP candidate this year. He's averaging 30. He's averaging 30 as well.
You got Peyton Pritchard now becoming a starter and really showing his role on the team.
Yeah.
And it's just crazy because I'm pretty sure they're tied with the Knicks for second or something. And
Yep.
bro, it's insane to me. And I think my last one here. This is kind of like a maybe some people hear this and they might disagree. Maybe you might disagree, but um, I really kind of like the Hornets trade here. Now I do
Mm.
know that they are getting kind of overloaded with guards, right? They have LaMelo Ball, they have Brendan Miller, they have Con Knipple. Now they get Kobe White, right? They're kind of getting overloaded with the guards. But man, I did not expect to check the sports app and see that the Hornets are 24-8. I
Yep.
mean 24-28,
Yeah.
right?
And they're not far off from the plane.
They're not far off from the playing team. And that's one thing that I've always questioned to myself is they have so much talent on this team, but why are they not, performing well? And now they are performing well. They're on like an 8-game win streak. They just beat
Mhm.
the Rockets yesterday.
Yep.
They just beat the Rockets, right? And I saw this stat where they're like 15-1 with the starting lineup of LaMelo Ball, Brandon Miller, Miles Bridges, Con Knipple, and Musa, whatever his name
Musa
is. Him.
Diabate. Yeah, he's been really
Musa
good for them.
Diabate, right?
Yeah.
So
He's been
they're
good.
like 15-1 with that starting five playing at all times, and then you add Kobe White, a guy that could potentially average 20 with the right minutes and with the right playing style. I mean, listen, if the Hornets can really sign a good player in free agency, and I'm not talking about like some crazy, max contract. I'm talking about like maybe like a 30 million, 35, 40 million dollar player. Bro, the Hornets cannot be that. They don't have a bad team.
You see,
They don't have a bad
yeah,
team.
the Hornets I had as one of my winners as well. They've been really, really good.
Yeah.
They've won 8 straight, and 9 out of their last 10. They've been really good. They've taken a huge step. They're right now locked into the play-in. They're tied with the Bulls. For
Wait,
that
what seed are they?
they're their 10th seed, so they're gonna be in the play-in right now.
Nah, that's crazy.
And
Wow.
but considering how they've started, I don't think I do think that there's a bit of a significant step that they made this year that was very important. I don't believe in like being bad all the time is good, like at all. Like being bad for a certain period of time is okay, but being bad for as long as the Hornets have been bad is pretty
Yeah.
depressing. But now it looks like they're starting to turn it around. They're making a beeline for for a top 8 seed potentially, and they're trying to get a lock for the play-in. I think the Bulls on top of that, I think the Bulls are going to start tanking now. Like the Bulls are done. Like the Bulls are
Bulls are
the
tanking.
Bulls. The,
I have two more things over this trade deadline. Number one, I love how Mike Conley gets to sign back with the Minnesota
great, yeah.
Timberwolves. I love that.
it's really funny.
That's so wholesome. I love that. He got probably sad that he got traded, and now he got traded to another team, which made him eligible to sign back with a team. My last winner that I looked at, and the reason why I'm not going over this trade, the Jeremy Jackson trade, I don't know how to feel about that yet. I still have to like do more of research on that because that trade really threw me off.
I
But
can
one trade that I do like,
I can give some insight on it, but we'll let you
yeah,
finish first.
one one trade that I really do like for the Lakers, bro, is Luke Kennard. I love that trade. They get a good shooter with Luke Kennard, and they basically gave up Gabe Vincent, who sucked, and then a 2032 second round pick.
I think
I think,
I think trading away your second round pick, your only second round pick remaining, is interesting only
yeah,
because it's an expiring contract that Luke Kennard is in. So Luke Kennard plays well for 30 games, fine, but are you gonna re-sign him? And I think
I don't know because
expiring,
Luke Kennard is bro,
he's a heater.
I'm pretty sure he's shooting one of his best seasons in the NBA yet, so it's gonna be interesting. But
We'll see. We'll see. I think that with the Jaren Jackson move, I think Utah is tired of losing, and I think that's why they brought in Keontae. They want Keontae George and his explosion offensively. He's been really good this year offensively. It's unfortunate that he can't really guard. But yeah, Keontae George and Lauri Markkanen both averaging over 24 points. Lauri Markkanen averaging over 27. I think what's interesting about this team is just how potentially deep it could get. So obviously you have Keontae George and Ace Bailey, assuming is going to be the starting backcourt. But then you have a front court potentially, and this is going to be a really big front court of Lauri Markkanen, Jaren Jackson Jr., and Walker Kessler,
they
right?
also got Philip Filipowski too.
And then Kyle Filipowski off the bench to go along with Isaiah Collier, Bryce Sensabaugh,
Oh,
Svi Mikaliak. So
yo,
I don't know if this team is going to necessarily be a contending team in the Western Conference, but
that's gonna be tough.
let's say for the sake of argument, right? Keontae George continues his scoring outburst, and then we get an Ace Bailey breakout. All of a sudden, this team becomes a little bit interesting. Now, Jaren Jackson Jr. is getting paid a lot of money, but I think that's money you can afford to spend for now. You can go ahead and give him for now because you have such a young team on your young team. Now, Lauri Markkanen, I don't know how much longer he's going. If they start off the year next year really rough, I think the guy they move off of is probably Lauri Markkanen. But I would say that keeping him and bringing in Jaren Jackson Jr. for about 3 first-round picks, um, I like this trade for the Utah Jazz. I think they're going to be competitive this year. Next year, rather. I think they're going to be competitive. That, by the way, they're still one of the worst teams in the league, so they could very well add a Darren Peterson to your team as well. If they,
That's really
like,
scary.
and the same thing can be said about Washington. Washington could add an AJ DeBonsa or Cam Boozer as well. Like, we're talking.
I have one question here.
What happened? What's good?
I don't know if you had something to finish up with about that, but I also wanted to talk about the Pacers trade for center.
I was gonna get to that
Ivanka Zubac.
actually right after I finished.
All right,
I got you
I'll let
right now.
go.
So yeah, I think for Memphis as well, this is a very good direction because I understand moving off of Jaren Jackson sucks. I do think not trading Ja is interesting, but I think you can easily move that into the offseason. I think what the Grizzlies are thinking is if he starts to show some flashes and improve his trade value, we can get him for a better deal in the offseason. So I think that's
Yeah.
why they decided not to
Yeah,
trade.
because there was a report saying that John Morant's his trade value was at its lowest.
Yeah. So I think that's why they're going to go ahead and run it back and try to find something more enticing. So I like that the Memphis Grizzlies picked a lane. They're like, okay, this core was not working. Let's get all the draft capital we can. They now have 13 first-round picks. They have 13 first-round picks, Will. So I think the Memphis Grizzlies. So they're tied with the Brooklyn Nets and the OKC Thunder, which the fact that the OKC Thunder have 13 first-round picks is like
Yo, I just realized Michael Porter
Jr. Yeah, he's staying in Brooklyn.
He never got traded.
That's interesting. Yeah, that's crazy, right? I was sure that he was going to
Bro, because I saw hella reports saying Michael Porter Jr. is a lock to get traded. And
That's very interesting. I think they could have gotten a first.
Listen,
for
because
him.
I think Michael Porter Jr. is a very good player to go to a contending team or a team that's looking to contend, and he could easily join that team and make a great impact. But that's besides the point because he didn't get traded. So.
He didn't get traded. Yeah, it's pretty much over for the Brooklyn Nets. They're probably still tanking, and Michael Porter Jr. wasn't helping with that tank, but I guess they're gonna go ahead and.
Yo, I saw that. Did you see the comment on Instagram saying my bad?
Oh yeah,
bro.
I saw that.
Like you're not helping this team tank, bro.
My bad, man. I'm just averaging 25. I apologize. Indiana. This kind of we haven't named a lot of losers in this yet. I do think Indiana is a winner in this trade. However, what I will say is trading Benedict Mathurin and 2 first-round picks. I think the Clippers got the better of the deal. I think they got away, but I think they traded away James Harden and they traded away Zubac and got Garland and Mathurin to push him through in this youth movement and pair him with a Jordan Miller and such, and pair him with some of these young guys in LA. I think it's very smart for the Clippers, for the Pacers. I think it gives you a better big man than Miles Turner was. So he's going to probably he's a better rebounder. He's a better finisher. He's not the better shooter, but I don't think they need a shooter at all. I think Indiana's locking in for next year. And if they're still trash this year, they could get a high overall pick and they could do whatever they want with that pick.
I honestly think to really see how good this Pacers trade was for Ivica Zubac is it's how Tyrese Halliburton comes back into next year.
Yes.
Because depending on how he comes back is really going to see how this whole thing works out. Because I mean, I'm expecting Tyrese Halliburton with taking this whole year off to come back strong, because you know he obviously got all of that hate when he was voted as the most underrated player, and then really shut them up in those playoffs.
Overrated.
Yeah, overrated, not underrated, overrated, and really shut them up in the playoffs. And I'm honestly now excited to see how the Pacers are going to be in the 2026-2027 season, because they also have Pascal Siakam, who's a very good player, right? Just got named an All-Star. But I'm excited to see how the Pacers are going to be, especially with the new center on their team. And yes, I would take Zubac over Miles Turner.
Yeah. So
he can't shoot, but I'd rather take a guy who's gonna guarantee me like 10 to 15 points with like 10 to 15 rebounds, bro. Honestly.
Yeah, and I think he's gonna fit a lot better than Miles Turner did with
Miles Turner. Did Miles Turner even average 6 rebounds, being 7'1"?
I don't know, but I don't think he played that well in the playoffs, and they still made it to the NBA Finals. So if they get any kind of great production, and they still are able to keep all the pieces that they had this past year. I don't know what they're at in terms of expiring contracts, but we can discuss that maybe for another day. Let's talk about losers for a second, right? Because there's obviously losers. We already mentioned the Miami Heat being losers. Obviously, they didn't make another. Obviously, they didn't make any.
Nah, I didn't put Miami Heat in the middle, man. Nah, I'm playing.
Nah, they're definitely freaking losers, bro. Like, what the heck are
we
talking about?
Anyway, bro, they're literally like
the biggest losers. They might be the biggest.
They are the worst.
Well, there are some other pretty significant losers that we could discuss. Let's talk about the 76ers for a second. The 76ers, we could have mentioned OKC as winners in this trade deadline. The 76ers did probably the most, like, I talked very well about the 76ers early on in this episode, but they did make a trade that puzzled me, and that's trading away Jared McCain. He was just in his second year, and they traded him away for a first-round pick. A first-round pick that's probably not going to be that valuable this year. So it was.
Yeah, man.
I'm calling them my first real loser of this trade deadline.
Because I understand the loser. I'm saying I don't understand the trade because let's go through it, right. So last year when Embiid was hurt, there was a time during last year where Embiid, Maxey, and George were hurt. All three of them.
And McCain was good.
And McCain was averaging 20, 25 every game. Every game.
Before he got hurt.
Lead guard. He was the lead guard, right? And once they start to come back, okay, then it drops to 15 points per game. But bro, 15, before he tore his meniscus, he was number one in the ladder. He was number one. He was gonna win Rookie of the Year. Remind me who won it again? Who won Rookie of the Year last year?
I think it was Stephon Castle who won Rookie of the Year last year.
Okay, Stephon Castle, but I just feel like the way Jeremy McKinn was going,
he was gonna win Rookie of the Year. No, he was gonna win. He was gonna win. He was gonna win.
He was gonna win.
Yeah,
right?
he was gonna win.
But I don't know. Because obviously, I feel like the main reason why they traded him away was because he had the meniscus injury and then he had a thumb injury before the season started. So, and then once he came back, he didn't really have like a solidified role.
Right.
And I don't think they were that patient on waiting because of VJ Edgecombe. I think that's the reason why. And him getting traded.
I think that's a weak excuse, though. Don't you think? Like, that's kind of a weak excuse to.
Bro, because why wouldn't you want to have like, you could have had VJ and Jerry. You could have had him, both of them, right? But yeah, I for sure put the Sixers in a losing not bracket, but in the losing column, because they are 27-21. They are a team that could make a push to make a deep playoff run, right? When Paul George comes back, but they didn't make a trade to make them better for right now, and then on top of that, they get rid of a player who can give you some buckets. So I think OKC, they get a good player in Jeremy McCain. They get a good spark plug off the bench when it comes to doing his role. But yeah, I agree with you on that.
Yep,
one. That's a good one.
I have another loser as well. I think the Warriors. Given how the Jonathan Kuminga saga has gone, I think the Warriors were like trading for Kristaps Porzingis, and maybe Kristaps,
especially with that thing he has. I don't know what it is.
Yeah,
I know it. I don't know what it is, but bro, that has taken him out
a lot
for a while.
A lot.
Like last year with the Celtics, it took him out,
and even happened
this year with the Hawks. Like, because I feel like the Warriors and the Heat are kind of similar when it comes to always being in the trade room together. They're always like, whenever there's a player, they're always in the mix for that.
But they
player,
never get
right?
that player.
Always in the mix, and they never get him. And the Warriors and the Heat kind of have a similar record, right? And they still didn't do any trades to really make their team better. Because at the end of the day, I don't think Kristaps Porzingis makes that team better. You know why? Bro, because they still don't have – the Warriors still don't have a center. I don't consider Porzingis a center. I don't.
I think he's
more – no, I think he's a power forward at best, because I think he's a stretch five. He's a stretch five. Defensively, I don't –
That would be a center to me, and
I know a stretch.
I think why I don't
when he's on the court.
Why I don't like the trade is less to do with his play and more to do with the fact that he is never available, and B, his contract is over after these 30 games that he's about to play. So you essentially traded Jonathan Kuminga, and instead of including him in a package that was maybe more enticing to get a better player, or even just not matching.
Yeah, but I also kind of feel like the Jonathan Kuminga thing was kind of like related to the Jimmy Butler thing, where I think Jonathan Kuminga just wanted to get the hell out, bro. He didn't.
Yeah, but he had no cards there, and it's not like he had no cards in the matter, and plus there was upside. There was more upside with Kuminga than with Jimmy, in the sense that Kuminga's a young player and he still has a lot to prove. The thing with Jimmy Butler, what made Jimmy Butler more interesting was because that the Heat they were literally not planning on trading him, and we're like, okay, we have to make something happen. And so that's why we couldn't maximize the trade value of Jimmy Butler when it was at its highest, and we actually maximized it when it was at its lowest. With the Kuminga trade, it was like he still had value, even though it was low. It was still higher than Jimmy's because of the fact that Jimmy Butler, that Jonathan Kuminga is still like not even entering his prime. So he still has room for growth. So that's why I'm still calling the Warriors losers regardless, because they didn't maximize Kuminga's trade value enough. by not playing him. They didn't. They're bringing in a player who's injury prone historically, and he's an upgrade from the centers that they have. But am I really going to say, does that really move the needle for them in the Western Conference? Not really.
Nope.
Not at all. So
Maybe if they were an Eastern Conference team.
maybe in the East maybe, but not in the West. Another loser. I think. Ironically enough, I think that the Pelicans actually are losers in this trade deadline, in my opinion. And why they're losers is that they have so many players that could have maybe been.
Yeah.
I don't understand why they're not making trades because they have
one thing that I gotta point out with that, with the whole Pelicans thing, is I'm pretty sure it was the owner or the GM that said we don't want to make any trades because we have a playoff roster. Now, okay, so then explain to me why you're 14th in the West. Ever since you got in Zion Williamson, you have just plummeted. Like, you just haven't. Everyone thought that Zion Williamson was going to turn on the franchise. He was going to be like, the new AD coming to the Pelicans, and I just think, they got it, bro. You got to trade Trey Murphy or something. Zion Williamson has been involved in, trade talks multiple times, and now they don't want to trade him, right? The only person they trade is Jose Alvarado, right? They give him to the Knicks, which the Knicks got that for free, basically.
Yep.
Because Yabusele really wasn't playing a lot at all. He wasn't playing. And I'm really lost with the Pelicans. Because you guys say you have a playoff roster, then play like it. And if you don't have a playoff roster, bro, be honest with yourself and make trades, bro. Because, listen, let's be honest. They got Jordan Poole, Herbert Jones, Trey Murphy, Zion Williamson. They got a good draft class this past year with Jeremiah Fears and Derek Queen. So, if you say you have a playoff roster, then play like it. If you don't, then trade, bro. Because I honestly, if you want me to be honest, next year is going to be the same thing. They're going to have the same exact roster, bro. I'm sorry.
Yep.
Not same exact roster, same outcome. Same outcome. Because guess what conference they're in? They're in the Western Conference, bro. Listen, with that team, you are not going to compete in the Western Conference. That team is all over the place. So, yes, that team is a loser. That team is all over the place. You got Jordan Poole, then you got Zion Williamson, it's just a mess, bro. It's a mess. Like, you got me saying Trey Murphy's a better player than Zion Williamson right now.
Trey Murphy's really good though. He's a really good player.
Yeah.
That's why I think he should have been traded because his value is pretty. I think the problem is they think that Trey Murphy's value is higher than it actually is. It's a good value. It's great value, but it's like they think he's like multiple first round picks. Like it's interesting, but my last loser, I would say, I actually have two more losers. I'll go ahead and rush through these because we are pushing a little bit farther than I would like. But regardless of that, Dallas Mavericks traded away Anthony Davis for pennies on the dollar. Obviously, a bunch of expiring contracts.
Hey, it just makes them look even worse since last year.
Yeah, that Luka trade looks worse and worse.
So
and
basically, the Mavericks get AJ Johnson, Middleton,
Max Christie. Don't forget
Max Christie. Obviously, those a lot of picks, but
Marvin Bagley. They got three. They got three first-round picks.
I want to go back in time to 1 year ago, where everyone was saying, I think both teams win. Yeah.
I don't think a lot of people were saying that. I'm pretty sure the consensus was that.
Well, no, because at the time, it was 50-50. And was that before Kyrie got hurt?
I don't know who thought it was.
Before.
I don't know who thought it was 50-50. It was never 50-50. No matter what Dallas did that year, it was never going to be 50-50. Like, at all. Whatsoever. Like, it was Luka freaking Doncic. Okay, what are we talking about here? And I get pissed off thinking about that trade, so we're not going to go into depth because the fact that a city like Los Angeles just constantly gets these stars. The Dallas Mavericks are definitely one of my losers. And the other loser, freaking the Kings. What the heck are the Kings? I'm going to name you this roster right now. What the heck are the Kings doing?
The Kings got to blow up the franchise.
DeMar DeRozan.
Yo, Sabonis didn't get traded. I just realized that. Bruh. So why didn't the Raptors get him, bro?
I don't know
The
why.
Raptors should have got him.
The Raptors could have probably done something. This
Bro,
roster is disgusting. DeRozan, Westbrook, Levine, DeAndre. They traded for DeAndre Hunter for whatever reason, and
Blow the
DeAndre
team, bro.
Hunter is got an extension not too long ago.
Just
So
blow up the team, bro. Blow up the team. That team
I
makes
mean,
no sense.
it's
It's just because you look at the roster and then you just see Russell Westbrook there. Like,
Russell Westbrook, man, Hall of Famer. It's
okay, my thing is why didn't the Raptors make a trade for like
the
Jakob
Raptors right now, like they really don't need to spend capital on Domantas Sabonis if he's hurt right now. You know what I mean? And I don't know what
He's hurt? I thought he came back.
He came back, but he's been battling a back injury a little bit. I don't know what Sabonis' contract looks like. He signed a 5-year, $217 million extension in July of 2023. He's going to be making $45 million next year and $48 million the year after. I think they're trying to find better value. That's a big contract, and I don't know if he's a centerpiece to like turn. I don't know if he turns you into a championship team. You know what I mean? I much rather stick with the core I have. You know, the Raptors aren't in a bad spot right now. They're currently 5th in the Eastern Conference at 31-22. Right? They have a solid roster. Scotty Barnes is an all-star this year. Brandon Ingram is really good. Emmanuel Quickly. They have some solid players as well. Colin Murray Boyles has broken out. Like it's in my opinion, they traded for Trace Jackson Davis. Probably could have added a better backup center or maybe a better center overall. But I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at the Raptors. I'm more upset at the Kings for just not doing anything. Not doing anything to like maybe acquire draft capital from.
I'll just never understand the whole Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan thing.
I don't know what Sacramento like. It feels like so long ago they had a bright future. They had a great year. Then they fire Mike Brown. They bring
They had the whole thing with De'Aaron Fox and Sabonis going. That was a good duo right there.
That was
and then,
good.
Obviously, he got traded to the Spurs, and then, but
now we're here, man.
But yeah, they had that 1 year where they made the playoffs, and then they were first round exits to the Warriors. Hold on, weren't the Kings the 3rd seed?
They were the 3rd seed. They were first round exits.
And they lost to the Warriors
in the first round in 7 games. Yeah, I remember.
That's the year they won the chip, though. The Warriors.
No, that was the year before. 2023 was the Nuggets.
Oh yeah, it was Nuggets.
The Nuggets,
but still 3rd seed, bro.
3rd seed is impressive, given what that franchise is like.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. Those are my losers. Those are our losers. It's been a very interesting episode. We've been talking for an hour and 20 minutes, and we could probably talk a little bit more, but we hate to keep you guys waiting. Please like, comment, subscribe if you haven't already. Another episode should be out next Tuesday. I don't know if I'm going to be including Will or not. Will kind of sucks. No, I'm playing. No, Will might join next Tuesday. I'm not very sure yet. I might get somebody else on, but I might use that time to just rant about my pain as a Heat fan and just discuss. I might just rank Jimmy Butler performances just to be petty to Pat Riley. I don't know. Bottom line is this: the Heat were definitive losers in this trade deadline. A lot of teams in the East
just label it Heat suck. Heat didn't make a move.
Yeah, we could just label it that. The bottom line is this, ladies and gentlemen: teams made a move, the Miami Heat didn't, and at the end of the very end of the day, this Miami Heat franchise is stuck in their ways of mediocrity, and we don't know when it'll end. So thank you guys so much for watching. Like I said, please like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you guys next time.
Peace.
Dale.